first video of 2021. I showered for you guys. I deep conditioned my hair. I shaved. I won't tell you where. Thank you guys for coming back, stitching in sequins, which lately I feel like, so when I first started doing YouTube, my name before stitching in sequins was Every Stitch Counts. Something that I just kind of made up on a whim, but then my kind of sparkly personality came out, and so hence I changed it to Stitching in Sequins. Now I feel more appropriate, like stitching with skulls or stitching with skulls, shoes, and sequins. I don't know. No name change though as of right now. I am sitting, which has been lately my stitching spot. I am in my office surrounded by my finishes. If you have any questions, let me know. The boys have gotten on to a nightly show watching binge, especially the last 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks being Christmas break, and then the boys, the school that the boys attend decided to do and we knew this before Christmas break, kind of mandatory 2-week everyone quarantine before everyone goes back to school sort of thing. Luckily it was only 2 weeks and that it was not pushed out to more than 2 weeks because I was over them being home. So their first day back was yesterday. Was going to record yesterday, but it was gloomy and it rained in the early hours. But we have some big clouds, but blue sky. So that's all right with me. So with the boys being home and wanting to hang out with the dad because they think he's much cooler, which is totally fine because I've told them numerous times, I carried you for 9 months and pushed you out. You don't need to be on me. You don't need to be clingy towards me. Like, go towards dad. That's totally fine with me. So because family room is usually where I stitch, I've been spending a lot of time in here, which is nice. I take my laptop, put on YouTube, Netflix, put it on my chair, and I sit here. Now, if you guys remember, this was a thrifted chair. God, what did I buy this for? Was this like 25, 30 bucks? It's this rocking chair, but it's not a rocking chair. There's a different name for it. But it's over 100 years old. I love the tapestry, fabric, the ornateness. The previous owner, the dog, decided to do some gnawing, which I was going to get these fixed. But I decided to just kind of add character to the piece. So I've been stitching here a lot. Readjust. I've been stitching here a lot. And when I stitch out in the family room, I usually go, you know, Indian style with my legs, or usually I'm sitting sideways. But you can't do this in this chair, and then you start to rock. So I've decided if that's going to become a regular thing, then maybe I should upgrade my chair in here. I'm kind of limited on space on what it would be because I'm in the corner and have my cart here. So we'll see. I'm not getting rid of this. I absolutely adore this piece. Maybe it'll go in the guest room. Anyway, let's get on to stitching. I have done a ton since the beginning of the year. If you guys watched my whip parade, short whip parade, thank you. and then also my 2020 finishes parade. Thank you. So I had this idea of filming it and inserting pictures, and I decided to change the camera facing away from me. But I also wanted to insert pictures and be able to talk over the pictures. And for some reason, I can't figure out how to do that with my current thing that I've been using prior to that. So when I downloaded new software, didn't realize then I would have to pay after uploading it. I should have known better. But that took me forever to film and edit and cut down and splice together. So thank you for those that watched it with the little watermark. I already have finishes for 2021. Commission pieces and then my own personal pieces. So I've begun to take pictures. And then at the end of the year, I will just be able to splice all the pictures together. Yeah, this is all I've worked on. Splice all the pictures together in a more easy, simple manner. Maybe I'll pick a few of my favorites and then kind of talk about them. But that definitely will not happen this year. Okay, let's just start. No particular order. Beginning of the year, I decided, you know, people have these grandiose plans. Oh, I'm going to stitch one Christmas ornament a month, or one Halloween ornament a month. And I thought, damn it, I'm going to try a 2 and then watch me. I'm going to give up just like everyone else come like April. I had purchased this not too long ago. This is Heads Up from Prairie Schooler. I love the retro images of Halloween, DMC colors, quick stitching. At least for me, I consider myself a fast stitcher. So let's see. I was able to, this is just what I'm going to continue on. I was able to bust out 2 of them, one in an entire day. So here is the skeleton one. As you can see, it is this one here. I did not add the keys next to his jaw, just like that. It calls for black, DMC, but I am using, for instead of the black, this gray. It's from Color and Cotton, Old Moss, slightly variegated, which I like. You guys commented that you really loved him. And his eyes are Jack-o'-lantern from Color and Cotton. I was doing the 3 skeins a month from Color and Cotton for, gosh, probably almost 2 years. Maybe even after over 2 years. And my credit card finally expired. And, well, my credit card expired. And I never went back in to put in my new credit card. So I have stopped getting the 3 Color and Cotton threads a month. But I have so many, I'm okay with that. So finish the skull. And then my iron, I don't know what the hell I picked up on the iron. So it left rust spots, crack mark spots. Luckily far enough away, so I'm not concerned about it. And then I did the devil. The red is Dracula from Color and Cotton, and I love how he turned out. Super, super cool. So, good old Amazon has a variety of black Christmas trees available. But they have one, I'm going to insert a picture here. This is the one that I'm interested in because it's not the stereotypical black Christmas tree. I love that it sort of has like a weeping willow vibe to it. And I'm not gonna like jam pack this tree full of ornaments. And if I do, I can always get another one and put it in the kitchen and hang ornaments. So, and then Amazon also has a bunch of, you can get them in a pack, 3-inch hoops. So I may be finishing these in 3-inch hoops. I'm going to measure and see where that puts me. But I kind of like the idea of hoops, and then I would paint the hoops black or maybe gold or silver, something kind of cool and different. So I like the witch on here up at the top. So I may stitch her. And then I absolutely love, well, it's the tombstone on the front. Uh-oh. There we go. And then this was a bonus, this guy here. Oh, I'm shaking. Notice my shaking has increased the last couple days. All right, so this I've worked on. Next, I pulled out, and I've just kind of pulled out whatever has called to me so far this month. What is this? Cultivating Friendship by Cory, Beth, Cory. Oh, a lot of stitching, because you're stitching the girls twice. I am stitching this on 40 count Midnight from Crosswing Fabrics. Love the variegation, love the blue tone. So I love stitching on colored fabric. And sometimes I get asked, how do you know which colored fabric to do? Well, I pull the threads for the chart, and whatever thread color is not used, not represented, that's a great color of fabric then to use. So in this chart, there are no blues. So I picked a blue fabric. The girl with the dark hair is modeled after me, skin tone, and the black hair. And then I left the other lady with kind of the dirty blonde hair called for. Now I filled in on her, I filled in all of this pink. Did I fill in the green? No, the green was already filled in. And then I came down here and started filling in the bottom of her skirt. Now there is another layer of skirt that goes underneath. Yeah, I'm not going to stitch it. I think that it's proportionate enough. It doesn't look like I'm cutting them off in any way. So that's where it's going to end. And then I have flowers to go around the edge and then along the bottom. So this shouldn't take me much longer to bust out, but yeah, really, really love it. And I have more of this fabric to use afterwards. The fabric that I used for the Prairie Schooler Heads Up Halloween pieces. So I like using Ada. This was just some random piece. It's probably 18 count, 16 count, but I only do 1/1. The coverage is really, really nice and it's not bulky. All right, next. Which piece is this? This was my New Year, New Start with Rachel Smack? Not Smack. Smack. Smeek. Rachel She's doing the tapestry, gorgeous design. I'll link her YouTube down below. She's just got a couple. Rachel, make another one. We decided to stitch Barbara Anna Sadie Woods sampler. It's weird, it's funky, it's, I don't know, it's me. I'm weird, I'm funky, it's strange, I'm strange. So, started on it, called for DMC colors, which are like 6 of them, which you would look at it and think that it was more, but it's nice that this design has very little colors. I definitely started over a little too, I gave myself too much border on this side. I'm good because I frame all of my stuff 99% of the time, to give myself about an inch, 3/4 an inch of space. But since I started this on a hoop, I think that that's, I started over and down more than I should have. So if I was stitching this as is, counting all the little motifs out, how many over, how many down, I'd be stitching like over here. It totally would not fit. So I've had to alter it a bit, which is fine. So I've just started on pages. The B is already charted in, and there is an alphabet, or you can pick your own alphabet online. But I've left the B for Baxter, which is my maiden name. Love the butterfly, the squirrel, the cat, the little compass, the key, this cow, the house, and this sort of starish symbol. There's supposed to be another house here. I'm not going to stitch it. One, I don't want to. And I need room to put in all the other motifs. So I'm having to just put motifs wherever so then they can fit. So if you look at the chart, the cat is not underneath the butterfly. It's actually over here on this side. So this house is where it's supposed to be. The cow is supposed to be off to the side, but I had to put him straight down. So this is halfway. I'll be able to get the rest in there. I'm just having to kind of reorganize it to my own liking so it does fit. And I feel like I should be able to get the rest of the motifs in it. But I've not been counting. I've just placed them wherever they fit. And that's what I would be doing anyway if I had enough fabric and was doing this pattern to the T. I would not be counting like, okay, the head of the cow starts, 8 stitches over from the house. I would just pick a spot and start stitching. I wouldn't waste my time trying to place the motifs exactly in the correct spot. Oh, and this I am stitching on a piece of random 38 count. You can see it's modeled there. Something. What else have I stitched on? This I pulled out a couple days ago. I was shunned to my office. Strawberry Blossoms by Kathy Barrick. I showed you guys the mirror tall thing that I am altering this pattern so it fits in. Now I'm thinking I don't want this to go in that mirror. because the mirror is ornate and heavy, and so I'm thinking maybe a Halloween piece in that, or some sort of Night Spirit Studio piece. I've been eyeing a couple pieces to go in there, but I won't decide that till the very end. So let me move my needle minder. I don't have to take it out of the hoop because you guys can see what I have. So what I was able to accomplish was all of her hair, her eyebrows, her eyes, and then all of this vine with the strawberries. So yeah, I really like it. The coverage is really nice, all DMC. I am stitching this on 40 count. That's right, because it needed to be tiny. So yeah, 40 count. And I've not added in all the strawberries. I've just added in the main ones, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I can always go back and add more. But yeah. What else? Let's see, what was this one? This was another New Year, New Start. I started this with Nicole. I practice X stitch. She too has started a FlossTube. I will link hers down below. Book of Spells, original copy of Book of Spells, using the called for colors. Yes, and I am using Anchor Black. Stitching this on 40 count Lakeside Linen Vintage Lentil. Again, I was looking at bolder colored fabrics, but decided to tone it down, McKenna, because there is a lot stitching wise in this piece. So I wanted the stitching and the detail and the colors of the threads to come through, shine through more than just the fabric. Let me move this over here. So Nicole had started her stitching first because I was busy doing Sadie Woods. So I think I started this a couple days after the first of the year. And I love this top here. It reminds me of like some like intricate lace. I stitched the first line. Yes, Arlene, I told you about this. Ghouls, fairies, bats, and I thought, that took me so long to stitch. Okay, probably not compared to like other people, but the whole, well, half of the page, there's, okay, it's not a lot of writing, I'm exaggerating. There's a few lines of text. And I was talking about this over with Arlene, and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to frog it out and then rechart it so it's all backstitched. But then I decided if I frog out that first line, not only am I wasting stitching time, but I also run the risk of messing up the fabric, cutting it, and then probably just falling out of love with this piece. So I said, F it, and I've continued on, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy I have. So this is Book of Spells, and right now, just Anchor. And it's really nice coverage. Don't know how I'll finish it yet. kind of like the book idea, which I think someone has done. Which you can get all kinds of different size books at thrift stores and then recover them. I don't know. Not there yet. The closer I get, then my wheels will be turning on how to finish it. My last new start? Yeah. I wanted, since I was in the Halloween mood after finishing those 2 ornaments, I went through all my patterns. Nothing was calling to me. So I remembered I had this DVD, Just Cross Stitch Halloween. It's the magazines, the Halloween magazines from 2011 to 14. So I popped it in, went through, and printed out the charts that I have interest in stitching. And one of them happened to be a primitive hair. Is it primitive hair? Yes, primitive hair piece that I had kind of always liked. As I said in my IG, it's like this emaciated horse, headless horseman. Love the text of Wicked Knight. So printed that off, stitching this on 40 count Lakeside linen, wood smoke. Again, thought of what kind of color, but then I decided to use a variegated thread. So if you're going to do a variegated thread, at least I believe, you need to tone down the fabric. Let me pull out, well, let me show you the thread. The thread shows good enough because I've stitched enough of it to show. So this is where I'm at. The thread I am using, Dragon's Blood, and this is part of 1884 Stitchery Silks by Vicki Clayton. I don't have too much of this left in stock, but if this is something that you like, then head on over and pick some up. Love the variegation. I have actually been sticking with the stitching from left to right to get the horizontal lines. And I'm really liking how it's turning out. The coverage is great. And I did all of this in like, I think like 2 days. It's a really quick stitch. Again, for me it is. And I actually had Cal pick out because I had a purpley green bluish variegated color thread, and then I had this Dragon's Blood, and Cal said this, and I'm thrilled that this is what I've gone with. So yeah, and I do not have much left on that. Maybe a pillow. Let me fold this up. I'll show you the other charts that I printed off from the DVD as well. Maybe check 123 Stitch, Amazon, if you're interested in it. Other chart that I printed out is October Feather Tree. And And this is from Not Forgotten Farm. I think this could be stitched up monochromatically or picking your own colors and making it really, really fun. So I have that one. And then all my loose leaf sort of patterns I have in a binder with sheet protectors. So if I go through my patterns and I never see anything, then I pull out my binder and just kind of flip through. This is Tombstone Angel by Carriage House Samplings. I think that's really fun too. So yeah, those are the only 3 that I printed out, but I wanted something Halloween-y, so that DVD worked out great. And I also know that they sell other versions of that DVD, I think like samplers or Christmas, maybe, don't hold me to it, but I've never checked out those. All right, so that is, oh, one more. She was hiding over here. Look who I pulled out. ETM at the Met. I was working on her and sitting in this chair. Again, I need to fix this chair situation. Because I was getting uncomfortable, and so that was making me not want to stitch on her. So what did I complete? I completed bringing this tassel that's draped around her back, connecting it to her hand. She has all kinds of things hanging down behind her on the chart. Let me show you. And as of right now, I've decided I'm not going to stitch all of that. I want to go with kind of a simpler approach. So she has all these beads and stuff, almost like a scarf, shawl, and I've decided not to include. But I had already started this one, and so I'm fine with at least this and this. Again, I'll see when I'm done. If I decide that it looks weird and that more needs to be added, I can easily enough go back. But this was not fully completed, so it was kind of bugging me. So I stitched all that all over, and I did not Swarovski crystals. I'm stitching her almost in sections, so that's where I had gotten her at one point. But I did all of this black and the gray, this black here, both sides, this black here. And that's all I was able to kind of stitch on her while I was sitting. But this will be a finish for 2021 if the state fair here in Arizona happens. She will be a contender. So yeah, lots of stitching, a lot of variety of projects, which I'm really happy with the last few weeks. What I want to stitch on, I'm not too big into Valentine's Day. The only reason why I like it is because of, let me just show you. Joe doesn't have to give, Joe knows I don't like getting flowers, chocolates I'm not into. I don't need a card. I don't need like a spa day. Conversation hearts. These will get me every time. You guys know I love Neckos. Love my conversation hearts. Love them. Some people can't stand them. I love them. That's all I need. So Joe bought 2 bags of them for me the other day, and the boys were like, look. I'm like, I love Valentine's Day. But to do something in the love realm, birds of a feather, love. I have stitched the other little tiny, similar, there's another one in the series called Loyalty, Honesty, and Patience. I want to say I've stitched that one. But again, really small, bust it out, change up the colors. So yeah, want to do that. What? Okay, go to lunch. Bye, honey. And then I have a girlfriend whose birthday is coming up. And I had a chart that I was going to stitch her, but decided it's horses like in a circle. I don't have it out. I just thought it was like a little too cheesy, so I wanted to do something a little more personalized, picking out the thread colors with horses still in mind. She showed horses when she was younger. This is the lady that I go to Vegas with a lot. So I wanted to stitch her something. She just moved into a new place. So I signed up this, just a girl who loves and then horses. So I want to get this done because her birthday is the first weekend in February. And I may or may not be giving this to her in person. Trying to plan something out to surprise her for her birthday. All right. Let's talk about 1884 Stitchery Sal. You guys remembered last year I had bought a fantastic stitched piece and I was going to break it down into 6 monthly blocks. And then a friend contacted me and said, actually, this is from designer blah blah blah. If I were you, I wouldn't, make it into a stitch along. And I said, well, no, absolutely not. So I had to nix all plans for that. So I came up with another Sal. So no need to sign up right now. There will be no sign up. I know I've gotten that question since I posted this on IG yesterday. There is no sign up. So the first part releases February 1st. I chose February 1st because a lot of Sals start January 1st. And I know some people will start Sals, but maybe they stitch maybe even 1 month and decide that this Sal is just not for me. Or they're starting so many, I didn't want mine to kind of get lost in the shuffle. So the first part comes out on February 1st. You go on to 1884 Stitchery. It will be under 1884 exclusives. And you can purchase it PDF or hard copy. I am stitching it along with you guys, so I have not stitched the full piece yet. It is all charted out and whatnot, but I'm stitching mine on a 40 count vintage light exemplar from Lakeside. The total stitch count for the piece, I believe, is 79 by 120. So feel free to do it as big as you want, as small as you want. I'm using 2 DMC colors, but feel free to use whatever DMC colors you want, or if you want to do variegated thread or anchor or silks, it's completely up to you. I'm using 3768 and 807. And here is what the first block center motif is. I love the detail. It's all full crosses, no back stitch, no specialty stitches. And yeah, so I look forward to stitching this up with you guys. Obviously, then come March 1st, I will have the second installment already stitched, and we'll be able to show you guys. So get your fabric, get your threads, and February 1st, I will have it available, hard copy or PDF, whichever one you choose. At the end of the sale, the whole thing will be available for purchase, so don't worry about that. Okay, so talked about that. If you have made it this far, I want to thank you guys so much and let you know that I don't know why, why I blinked out there for a second. I have decided I don't have too much of Al Forest embroidery inventory left. I think I have one set of silks, or one set of threads, I believe for the Czar kit. I have a handful of printed out charts, and I still have some kits available that I have in stock right now. I have made my first order with Al Forest for the year. Because I buy so much, it's going to take a couple weeks for them to get it all filled. And I will be having new kits coming as well, and really excited to show you guys new things that they have in the works. So through the end of the month, January 31st, no code needed, everything Al Forest will be 15% off. So if you have been eyeing a kit or a chart, go over now. I have it all up and ready, so you can pause me right now and go over and shop. I'm going to show you 3 kits that I just pulled off. I don't remember the specific name, but I call this like this blue vase. But I know it's not a vase. It's kind of like a decanter tea kettle, but it's not a tea kettle. It's gorgeous. Full kit, threads, fabric, needle minder, needle. You can start it the second that you get it from me. This is bright and cheery, and you'd be able to hang this up anywhere in your house, but I would love this to be in like an office. So this is Sweet Home. So many great little motifs. Love the color palette. Love the roses in the middle. You can pick motifs out of it and kind of customize it your own way. Again, thread, fabric, needle, all ready to go. And spring, at least it's feeling spring here. I only have one of these, and this is Carrot Forest. How cute. So yeah, till the end of the month, 15% off, all Owl Forest, no code needed. Go over. Find something for yourself. I've received new inventory. There was a store in Texas going out of business. And the owner politely called me up and offered me whatever inventory was left over. So this store was Stitches Through the Years. No, Stitches of the Heart. I'm going to put it here. Anyway, yeah, owner called me up and we did like a FaceTime, and she took me all around the store, and I said, yes, yes, give it all to me. I'll take this. No. So I know I still have a couple cuts of Picture This Plus. I bought all the Picture This Plus that she had left. So I have that available. And then I'm just going to show you a handful of the charts that I purchased. I have Long Dog Sampler. I also purchased a couple Brenda Gervais. And then I purchased some Teresa Kogut. So this is the Above All piece from Teresa Kogut, spiral bound, really, really nice. I also have, I don't know how many of each of these. Faith, Hope, Love Sampler, gorgeous. And not that many colors. And then her angels, I think, are really, really cool. And this one is Oh My Soul. I also have some smaller, like half sheets too, of Teresa Kogut, some of the like animal ones. So if you go over to 1884 Stitchery, I don't have a tab for Teresa Kogut, but if you just type in her first name, Teresa, or the last name, Kogut, up in the search bar, all of her charts will show up. I also went a little hog wild on Plum Streets. So some of them that I love, let's see, From My Heart to Your Hand. I have a couple of the cereal bowl collections, and then one is an actual kit. So Lesson 5. This one I actually have as a full kit. Well, the silks, at least. Grace on Thee, Goody Grimwood. I only have one copy of that. And then watch, it'll sell, and then I'll get upset that I didn't grab it. But super cute. The Beekeeper. Love the colors on that. Gentleman's Daughter. So again, just type up, I believe Plum Street Samplers, I have its own tab. So, Tomato Dance. You gotta get ready for summer. It's coming. So yeah, just go on over and see if anything tickles your fancy. Love Plum Street. All right, what else? I have one more thing that I want to show regarding 1884. I have put up for sale. This is Earth Dancer. As of right now, it is still available. This is Earth Dancer Butternut Road. Fully stitched, beautiful stitches. The stitcher, not me, used the called for bead pack So you have all the beads perfectly placed. The suede detail on her outfit. The dream catcher is gorgeous. It is double mounted. This kind of navy blue. And then the top, the colors coming through pretty, I would say pretty close. I would say that's a close match. My ring light is working. And this is actually a suede mat. Nicely framed. It is 26 by, is it 17 inches? I have the stats, all the specifics online. This section here, this kind of blue box, as I'm calling it, it looks like something is missing, but it is not. The person that framed this, the professional framer, added it as an accent. And then there is this suede kind of detail hanging off. No writing on the back, but it is fully closed up. Gorgeous piece, absolutely lovely, and I've decided to part with it. So that is available as of right now. I took advantage of our sunny weekend a couple days ago and decided I wanted to dye some fabric. I had seen somewhere on IG blood. I don't know what it is with me lately. Joe doesn't understand. He's like, you changed ever since you dyed your hair black. You've gone like this goth route, especially today. He's like, where? He's like, you're going to like jury do you have like a court hearing today? One, he hates red and black. He's like, it's very like cliche. I told him I feel like it's like Beetlejuice going for a job interview. My skeleton head buying, like he doesn't even recognize me anymore. Wait until I show you the book I purchased. But this fabric, I had seen somebody on IG, blood splatter. Oh no, blood splatter fabric. And I thought, crap, I could do that. So as a practice, I had laying around some 16 count Ada, Charles Craft. I had some powdered red Rit. Mixed it up really strong so the color was really, really vivid. And I found a old brush and laid this out on the grass and just whoosh, whoosh, across. And then I just let it sit out in the sun and dry. I love this. I really, really like how it turned out. And then it was interesting. It must have not been dried fully. So when I ironed it, it kind of like, these were like really tight, like blood splatter drops. But then when I ironed, it like bled them out. So I really like the effect. It was more this. And then when I ironed it in some parts, it kind of bled out. So yeah. And then when I did it the second time, I don't know if I left it out in the sun too long and it bleached it out. This is on a 14 count Ada, also by Charles Craft, but it made it a lot lighter, which is fine. I can still see what it is. So yeah. So maybe I'll put up one of these on 1884 Stitchery. Or not. And I'll just stitch all my weirdness on them, and Joe will divorce me because he doesn't recognize the person he married 10 years ago. I am looking to get another tattoo. Something skeleton. I follow some interesting accounts on IG and am a fan of the website Morbid Anatomy. I signed up and took a virtual Zoom class with them last week, and it was about the symbolism of gravestones, markers, what like the winged angel head means, or just the symbols that can be found on much older gravestones. Really interesting. And so I had been looking for a book on gravestones, trying to find inspiration to come up with a new tattoo. So I purchased this. This is called Death, a Graveside Companion. It's really, really cool. Love it. I won't show too many pictures. I wouldn't say that it's macabre. It's macabre in nature, but it is not it's not showing like headless people. It's a very respectful, educational book. So I love, can I get this as wallpaper? But I love kind of the copper tone that they do throughout. But it's like the art of dying, examining the dead, memorializing the dead, personification of death, symbolizing death, death as amusement, and that's like theater, and then the dead after life, spiritualism, photography. But look what was in here. This is Susanna Jane gravestone, and also available to stitch from Works by ABC. I will link that down below. So I read a couple pages this morning. I know a lot of FlossTubers also read. I was a big reader growing up, but as of late I'm not, but I can see myself getting sucked into reading this, and it's a pretty good sized book. But yeah, I got it for inspiration for my next tattoo. So yeah, really, really cool. That is it. Actually, no, it is not. I have one more thing to show. I always leave them for the end because I know a lot of you guys are not fans, but I did it again. I purchased another human skull. Yes, it's a he. He's real. Well, not anymore. This is Beauregard. Just came to me. I call him Beau, but yeah, Beauregard. The name might be changing. So he comes from the Netherlands. The individual I purchased it from an anthropologist who dug him up, Beau, about 35 to 40 years ago in Netherlands at the, put it down below, Oakkirk church, means the old church. Fascinating history on that church alone. So the anthropologist was doing a dig at the church, must have liked him, and obviously didn't categorize or catalog him or anything, probably put him into a bag because this was living with the anthropologist. What information I got from the individual that I purchased Beau from was that Beau is 16th to 17th century. I looked into, now again, yes, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, just like anything you learn. But the person that I bought him from is very reputable. So I contacted college here in Arizona, one of the universities, and called the anthropology department, made a lot of phone calls, and said, I am interested in carbon dating. I have a skull that I was told 16th to 17th century, and I would be willing to pay or donate my specimen to the anthropology department for students to practice on, to radio date, to carbon date him. Did some emails back and forth with an actual anthropologist, archaeologist. The guy was not an anthropologist. The guy that dug him up was an archaeologist. Sorry. But I contacted the archaeologist and anthropology department and spoke with kind of the main guy. And he said the thing with carbon dating is that it is so broad, especially the last 400 years. So he gave me an example where we could radio date him, but it could give me such a broad date timeline. He's like, it would be a waste of your money. And they also date the skeleton with artifacts that are found. Jewelry, pottery, clothing, if there's books, artifacts. Since I just have his head, and he is not super old. Yes, 16th century is very old, but it's not enough. He's like, you would just waste your money and be getting a very broad timeline. But he found it interesting that I had shown him that actually up Beau's nose, you can see there is, let's see, where is it at, Beau? I don't know if it's going to show. There it is. There are roots and soil still up in his nose, lodged from when he was taken out of the ground, that the archaeologist never cleaned him up. So I fell in love with him, with his teeth. He does have a broken tooth there. He doesn't want to go to the dentist. His skull is not cut. His jaw does come off. But yeah, it's really, really interesting that he has roots and dirt still hanging out in him. And I'll be leaving him. I will not be cleaning him out in any way. Oh, Beau. Oh, and Charlie. Still have Charlie. All right, you guys. Go back to watching my first video and then compare it to this one. 180. Who's this woman? Thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking. Remember to head on over to 1880 for Stitchery if you are interested in any Owl Forest goodies, 15% off for the rest of the month, or if you need Earth Dancer in your home, Beau, me, not for sale. Remember, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.